Hi, I'm Trinity. You know how people always say family is everything? Well, what they don't tell you is that sometimes family is the very thing trying to destroy you. I learned that lesson at exactly 5:07 a.m. on a Tuesday, but the warning signs had been there for months. Trinity, you're being dramatic again, my mom Carol said over dinner, rolling her eyes when I mentioned Derek had been in my room. He was just borrowing your laptop charger. Without asking? For the fifth time? I set my fork down. And why was my jewelry box open? Derek, my stepbrother of 3 years, flashed that smile that always worked on Mom. I knocked, but you had those stupid earbuds in, and I bumped into your dresser by accident. See? An explanation for everything. Mom patted Derek's hand. My stepfather Richard nodded. Trinity, you need to be more trusting. We're family now. That conversation played on repeat in my mind as I sat across from my best friend Megan at our favorite coffee shop the next day. Your mom always takes his side. Megan stirred her latte aggressively. It's like she got a whole new family and forgot about you. Tell me about it. Yesterday I found my prescription anxiety meds were missing pills. When I mentioned it, Mom suggested I was taking extra and forgetting. Megan's eyes widened. No way. That's gaslighting 101. Derek said maybe the pharmacy shorted me. Mom and Richard just nodded like he's some kind of pharmacist expert. Have you thought about getting a lock for your door? Megan leaned forward. Richard says no locked doors in this house because families don't keep secrets. I mimicked his gruff voice. That's concerning, Megan frowned. What about setting up a camera? That's actually not a bad idea. I took a sip of my coffee. I could use my old phone. Do it. Something feels off about this whole situation. I did set up that camera. And 3 days later at 2 a.m., it caught Derek rifling through my drawers, pocketing cash from my wallet and, most disturbingly, standing over my bed watching me sleep for nearly 5 minutes. I showed the footage to Megan the next day at her apartment. Trinity, this is seriously messed up. You need to show your mom right away. You think she'll believe me now? She has to. It's on video. I nodded, feeling a knot in my stomach. I'll show her tonight. Call me right after, okay? No matter what time. That evening, I connected my phone to the TV while my mom and Richard sat on the couch. What's this about, Trinity? Mom sighed. We were about to watch our show. Something you need to see. About Derek. Richard immediately stiffened. If this is more accusations, just watch. The video played. The silence was deafening. When it finished, Richard spoke first. This proves nothing. He was looking for his stuff you probably took. My stuff in my room? And what about him standing over me while I sleep? Is that normal to you? Mom looked uncomfortable but said, You've always been jealous of the attention Derek gets. This is a new low, setting up secret cameras. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Are you serious right now? We're not discussing this further. Richard stood up. And give me that camera. No more recordings in this house. That night, I texted Megan. They didn't believe me. Said I was jealous and making it up. Her response came quickly. Stay at my place tomorrow. We'll figure this out. I never made it to Megan's. At exactly 5:07 a.m., I woke to a searing pain in my side and Derek standing over me, kitchen knife in hand, whispering, I know what you're trying to do. It won't work. Trinity, I need you to go through it one more time, Detective Martinez said, sitting beside my hospital bed 2 days later. His voice was gentle but firm. I woke up to Derek stabbing me in my side. I winced as I shifted position. He said he knew what I was trying to do, that it wouldn't work. And your parents? They're saying I did it to myself, that I'm seeking attention. The words still stung. They laughed when you questioned them, didn't they? Detective Martinez's expression confirmed it. Your mother suggested you have a history of dramatic behavior. Of course she did. I closed my eyes briefly. Did you see the video? We did, and we've taken your phone as evidence. That, combined with your medical records and the nature of the wound, makes self-infliction highly unlikely. Megan burst into the room, eyes red from crying. Trinity! I came as soon as they let me. She turned to Detective Martinez. Her stepbrother is dangerous. We have proof. We're building a case, Miss Chen, he assured her. But we need more. Trinity, has Derek ever threatened you before? Not directly. It was always subtle. Things moved in my room, items missing, the standing over me while I slept. What about your parents? Any direct threats from them? I shook my head. No, they just enable him, defend him, make me feel crazy for questioning anything. Dr. Winters, my therapist, joined us next. She'd been seeing me since my dad died 4 years ago. Trinity has no history of self-harm, she stated firmly to Detective Martinez. In fact, she's been expressing concerns about her home environment for months. Detective Martinez nodded. That's helpful. Dr. Winters, would you be willing to provide an official statement? Absolutely. Trinity's safety is my primary concern. After they left, Megan pulled her chair closer. Your mom and Richard came by earlier. The nurse refused to let them in. Good. I can't face them right now. Trinity, they were telling people in the waiting room that you did this to yourself for attention. That you've been jealous of Derek since your mom remarried. My blood boiled. They're trying to control the narrative. Dr. Winters overheard them. That's why she came directly to speak with Detective Martinez. The next day, Detective Martinez returned with a female officer. We've spoken with several of your classmates, he said. 2 mentioned Derek bragging about messing with you and watching you sleep. He told people? I felt sick. Apparently to impress them. He also told someone he took your medication to sell at school. The female officer, Detective Wilson, added, We found your medication in his locker, along with items from several other students. What are my parents saying now? Detective Martinez exchanged looks with his colleague. They're still defending him. Your mother suggested you planted the items in his locker. That's ridiculous. I've been in the hospital. We know. Their story isn't adding up. Megan, who had barely left my side, interjected, What about the knife? Did you find it? Yes, it was in the garbage can outside your house. Derek's fingerprints were on it. So you're arresting him? I asked. He's already in custody, but Trinity, there's something else you should know. When we told your parents about the arrest, they laughed. Said the charges wouldn't stick because you're known for making things up. I wasn't even surprised anymore. They've chosen their side. Well, Detective Wilson said, their reaction has been noted in our report. The prosecutor finds it significant. Dr. Winters joined us again, carrying a folder. I've brought my notes from our sessions over the past year. With Trinity's permission, I'd like to share them. I nodded. They document a pattern of concerning behavior in the home, Trinity's increasing anxiety, and her fears about Derek's escalating behaviors. Detective Martinez took the folder. This will strengthen the case considerably. When they left, Megan squeezed my hand. It's happening, Trinity. They're going to face consequences. For the first time since the attack, I felt a glimmer of hope. 2 weeks later, I was released from the hospital and staying with Megan's family. The preliminary hearing was scheduled and Derek remained in juvenile detention. My parents had been calling constantly, leaving messages that alternated between pleading and threatening. You need to drop these ridiculous charges, Richard's voice growled from my voicemail. You're tearing this family apart with your lies. Megan shook her head as we listened. Your stepdad is something else. My phone rang again. Mom. Should I answer? I asked Megan. Put it on speaker. I'll be your witness. I took a deep breath and answered. Hello? Trinity, this has gone far enough. Mom's voice was tight. You need to tell the truth. I am telling the truth. Derek stabbed me. We both know that's not what happened. Derek would never hurt anyone. Then how do you explain the knife with his fingerprints? The video of him in my room? The stolen medication in his locker? You're setting him up, Richard's voice boomed in the background. You've been jealous since day one. Richard, please, my mother said, then continued. Trinity, Derek made a mistake taking your things. He admits that. But this stabbing accusation is too far. A mistake. Mom, he stood over me while I slept. He stole my medication. He stabbed me. I have a 6-inch wound and 32 stitches. We're willing to forgive you, she said, ignoring everything I'd just said. But you need to drop the charges. Forgive me? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I'm not dropping anything. Richard's voice returned louder now. Listen here, you ungrateful— No, you listen, I interrupted, surprising myself with my firmness. Derek stabbed me. You both defended him and accused me of lying. I'm done. Trinity, please. Mom's voice softened, trying a new approach. Derek's future is at stake. He's your brother. Stepbrother. And he should have thought about his future before he put a knife in my side. He says he didn't do it. Why won't you believe him? The same reason you won't believe me, I guess. Richard grabbed the phone. You'll regret this, Trinity. When this is all over, don't expect to come back home. Is that a threat, Richard? Megan interjected. Because I'm recording this call. There was a brief silence. We just want our family back together, my mom said weakly. You chose your family, Mom, and it doesn't include me. The next day, we were at the courthouse when Derek was brought in for his hearing. He looked smaller somehow, in his juvenile detention uniform. When he saw me, his expression darkened. Trinity, he called out as they led him past. Tell them the truth. Tell them you did this to yourself. Detective Martinez stepped between us. Keep moving. You're ruining my life, Derek shouted. Mom and Dad know you're lying. I have the scars to prove I'm not, I replied calmly. His face contorted with rage. You'll pay for this when I get out. Is that a threat? Detective Martinez interrupted, signaling to the guards. I didn't mean it like that. Derek backpedaled quickly. I just meant, save it for the judge, Detective Martinez said. My parents arrived moments later, avoiding eye contact with me. In the courtroom, Derek's attorney tried to paint me as unstable and attention-seeking. Then the prosecutor presented the evidence. The video, the knife with Derek's prints, testimony from classmates, my medical records, and Dr. Winter's notes. When Derek took the stand, he broke down. I didn't mean to hurt her. I was just trying to scare her into stopping the recordings. She was trying to get me in trouble. The courtroom fell silent. His lawyer looked stricken. So you admit to stabbing Trinity Morris? The prosecutor asked. Derek looked at his parents, then back at the prosecutor. It was just supposed to be a warning. I didn't push the knife in deep. She's making it sound worse than it was. As they led Derek away, my mother caught my eye, her expression finally showing something other than dismissal. Fear. All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Eleanor Simmons presiding. 3 months had passed since the preliminary hearing. Derek had been charged as a juvenile with assault with a deadly weapon. My parents faced charges of child endangerment and obstruction of justice for their attempts to cover up the attack. I sat between Megan and Dr. Winters, trying to stay calm. Before I announce the sentence, Judge Simmons said, looking directly at Derek, I want to address the seriousness of this case. What began as invasion of privacy escalated to theft, stalking, and ultimately, a violent attack on a family member. Derek stared at the floor. To the parents, she continued, turning to my mother and Richard. Your failure to protect one child while enabling the destructive behavior of another is perhaps the most disturbing aspect of this case. My mother dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. Trinity Morris, the judge addressed me directly. The court recognizes your courage in pursuing justice, despite facing disbelief from those who should have protected you. I nodded, fighting back tears. Derek Thompson, please rise for sentencing. Derek stood shakily. For the charge of assault with a deadly weapon, this court sentences you to juvenile detention until age 21, followed by 5 years probation. You will complete anger management, therapy, and substance abuse programs. Additionally, a permanent restraining order will be issued prohibiting contact with Trinity Morris. Derek's shoulders slumped as the reality hit him. Carol and Richard Thompson, please rise. My mother and stepfather stood. For child endangerment and obstruction of justice, you are each sentenced to 18 months probation, 200 hours community service, and mandatory parenting classes. You will have no contact with Trinity Morris unless initiated by her. The court also orders you to pay all of Trinity's medical expenses and therapy costs. The judge paused, then added, "Let me be clear. Your laughter and dismissal of a violent attack on your daughter was unconscionable. This court finds your behavior reprehensible." After the sentencing, my mother approached me in the hallway, Richard trailing behind. "Trinity, please," she began, her voice breaking. "We were wrong. We see that now." "It's a little late for that revelation, don't you think?" I replied. "We're your parents. We made a terrible mistake, but we love you." "Love?" I laughed without humor. "You chose Derek over me at every turn. You laughed when I was stabbed. We didn't understand." "You understood perfectly. You just didn't care." Richard stepped forward. "Trinity, we're still family. We can work through this." "No, Richard. We're not family anymore. You made that decision when you threatened me for reporting Derek." "What can we do?" my mother pleaded. "How can we make this right?" "You can't. Some things can't be fixed with an apology." Later that evening, I sat with Megan, Detective Martinez, and Dr. Winters at a small celebration dinner. "To Trinity." Detective Martinez raised his glass of water. "One of the bravest young women I've ever met." "I don't feel brave," I admitted. "Most days I just feel broken." "Healing isn't linear," Dr. Winters said gently. "But you're already showing remarkable resilience." "What happens now?" Megan asked. "With your mom and Richard?" "Nothing. The chapter's closed." I took a deep breath. "I'm focusing on college applications. My dad's life insurance will cover tuition." "You're going to thrive, Trinity," Dr. Winters said. "This experience is part of your story, but it doesn't define you." Detective Martinez nodded. "And your testimony might help other kids in similar situations." I looked around at the people who had believed me, supported me, and helped me find justice. These were my real family now. "Do you think sharing your story might help others?" Megan asked carefully. I considered this. "Maybe someday. When I'm ready." "No pressure," Dr. Winters assured me. "But your voice is powerful." As we finished our meal, I felt something I hadn't experienced in a long time. Peace. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but for the first time, I could see beyond the betrayal. "Have you thought about what you want to study in college?" Detective Martinez asked. "Criminal justice," I replied without hesitation. "I want to help people like me, people who need someone to believe them." Have you ever had to choose between family loyalty and your own safety? What would you have done in Trinity's position? Share your thoughts in the comments below.